Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are diving into the IPv6, specifically about the loopback address. So in the previous video we have learned about all the IPv6, the rules and all those things we have seen it, how we can simplify the IPv6 address and all those things. We have seen the two different rules. Now we'll try to see when it comes to the loopback address. So you know about the loopback address, right? The localhost thing. So when it comes to the localhost or the loopback address in the IPv6 protocol, so how the loop address will be implemented. Let's try to see. If you have ever wondered about how devices communicate locally or why IPv6 is such a big deal compared to IPv4, so let's try to break it down, compare IPv4 and IPv6 and even touch on some of the programming tips also. Let's get started. What is a loopback address? So you know about this loopback address. So first of all, let's try to understand about this loopback address first. So loopback address means, first thing first, let's talk about the loopback address. In IPv4, the loopback address is 127.0.0.1. It's like a special address that lets your computer talk itself for testing or local communication. In IPv6, the loopback address is much simpler. It is just colon colon 1. That's right, two colons and a 1. But how do we get there? Let's unpack it. So now we know about this loopback address. IPv6 address is the 128 bits long, written as 8 groups of 4 hexadecimal digits separated by colons. So that means the IPv6 address, so the loopback address will look like something like this. So eight groups of 4 hexadecimal separated by colons. So the loopback address in IPv6 is something like 0000. So like this, all zeros, and the last it will be 1. So this is a mouthful of zeros, right? But here is a cool part. IPv6 has a rules to make this shorter. So you know about this one, right? So now how I can implement this one? So you can make it as a 0 colon 0, sorry, 0 colon 0 colon 0 colon 0 colon, let's say 1. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and another 0 you should have. Okay, so these are all the thing. And the second rule what we can do it is, if you are having a consecutive zeros or something like that, so what you can do, so you can do only this one, all those zeros from the start to second to the last block, they will become colon. So that means here colon colon, and you can make it as a 1. That's it. So now here is what it is left out. So yeah, the address shrinks to colon colon 1. So that is the IPv6 loopback address. Super clean, right? So that is the thing. So now you can write I loopback address in different ways. You can write it like this, or you can make it as something like it's colon colon, and you can make it as in 0 colon 1. Anything you, whatever the things you want, you can make it. So that is your wish. So how you want to implement it, that is your wish. So but no matter how you write it, but you need to follow the rules. That's it. And it is also the same address in the computer. That's the main thing. So now here is the key. Computers don't care about the colons or hexadecimal numbers or anything. They see everything in a binary only. The IPv6 loopback address in binary is 128-bit number with a single 1 at the end of the 127 zeros before it. So what we can do here, every valid way of writing colon colon 1, or whether it is a full address or a shortened address, that will be translated into like this only. It will be translated into like this only. Router and devices use this root traffic. So the human readable format is, this is just human readable format just for us. That is the main thing. Let's compare IPv4 and IPv6. So you know about this IPv4 and IPv6. Let's, before closing this one all, so let's compare about this IPv4 and IPv6. So IPv4 uses the 32 bits, giving us about 4 billion possible addresses. That means it is around 2 to the power of 32. Sounds like a lot, but we have already ran out. That's why we have things like NAT, where private IPv4 address like the like this one will get translated to the public ones. So if you try to see your home network, when you click on the Wi-Fi, and let's go to the Wi-Fi settings, and if you try to check the details of this one, so here you will be able to see in the TCP IP. So the IP address it is allocated is 192.168.0.107. So this is my private IP. So this is my private IP. So in your system also, if you try to see, you will be also assigning something like around like this only. So every system in your, when it is connected to the router, you will be having this private IP address. So because of IPv4 address running out, so we are using like NAT and private address like this, we are using it. So your computer might have a private IPv4 address, okay, like 192.168.1.100 something like that. But a Google search for what is my IP will show a different public IP because of NAT. In IPv6 we don't need NAT because there are so many addresses. So that is the thing. So now IPv6 uses 128 bits, which means 2 to the power of 128, roughly around 1340 something like that you will be having. 2 to the power of 128, 340 followed by 36 zeros, it will be something around. So it's a very big number. Okay, IPv4 has only 4 billion IP addresses. So it seems to be a huge on that day. Okay, but the internet grew and we exhausted them. IPv6 massive address space we won't run out anytime soon. It is crucial for today's internet, supporting billions of devices, phones, IoT gadgets, you name it, whatever it means. Without IPv6, the internet as we know it wouldn't function properly today. So that is the thing. If you are a programmer, good news is IPv6 doesn't change much to the application layer, whether you are using TCP or other protocols. You just specify an IPv6 address instead of an IPv4 one. That's it. For example, in a node server, instead of binding 127.0.1, you can use colon colon 1. So that means, so in your code here, we are having this a simple server, right? So here we are using 127.0.0.1 instead of using this family v4 address. So if you try to run this one, let's try to run this one. Let's is that file name HTTP server, right? Sudo node HTTP server.js file. Okay. So it is asking for the password. Server running, it is giving here. Say that we got the socket and socket. So it's a duplex stream, right? Let's see that whether we can able to get the socket or try to see port number, host, and all those things. Event list, it is giving you, see, or otherwise try to see. Let's see whether we can able to get it on. Kind of. So let's try to get the server address. Okay, server address. We could try to stop it and see. Here you'll be able to see 127.0.1. It's a family IPv4 address. So if you want to get a family IPv6 address means, so here what you can do, clear it out. So now whenever I am trying to do like this, so we are getting IPv6 address. So if I go here into our thing, and here if I try to do 127.0.0.1, if I try to read, so here you'll be able to say, hey, yeah, sorry guys. So here you'll be able to see 127.0.0.1. So here you'll be able to see hi there. So now if you want to convert it into an IPv6 address, so then what we can do instead of this one, so we can convert it into, so here you can do colon colon 1. Okay, so now if I save this one and if I remove this, I save this one. Yeah, saved it, right? Now let's go to here. So now this one is an IPv6 address. Now what you can do it here, so you can access it like this. No, sorry, you can access it like colon colon 1. So okay, here you can do localhost or something like colon colon 1. HTTP colon colon 1. Let's try to see. Yes, perfect. Okay, fine. So now we can also support this saying that you can run it with like this. Let's try to hit again. Copy. Okay. Let's go here. My system, why I don't know why it is doing that. It can't be reached. I'm running it, right? It is running it. And here also. So use something like this. We can use it, not a problem. It is HTTP. Otherwise, you can use localhost it is going to like this. So that is the thing. So you can use it something like this also. So you can use it. So you can Google it or something like that. You can able to find this one. So we can also use the Node.js version greater than something around 10 or something like that. So it will support the this one. So the default one will be able to run. So you can able to run. So now that is the main thing. Now Node.js versions like a now right now what is the version I am using it is I don't know. So let me check it. Node-v. So it is I am using at the time of this recording is 22.15.0. So node version above the 10 or something like that supports the IPv6 address. I didn't remember exactly. So that is the main thing. So that's it guys about this one. So hope you understood about this concept. That is all about the deep dive into the IPv6 loopback address and all those things. Hopefully you now understand how the IPv6 localhost loopback address works, why IPv6 is a game changer, and how to use it in your projects. If you found this helpful, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell for more technical tutorials like this. So if you have got any questions about the Node.js or any networking or something like that, drop down in the comments below. I will see you in the next video. Until then,